What would you do if death was staring you in the eye? If you were on your deathbed right now, what would be the things that you would like look back and be like, "Oh man, I wish I would have done this." Hey guys, and welcome back to another Limitless Conversation. And welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, I am your host, authentically Sean. You can find me on all social media. And here on this podcast, we talk about expanding and being the best version of ourselves. You guys are following my personal journey. When I bring my friends on, they are sharing some of their journey. And we talk about where we are believing ourselves to be limited and how we are busting through those limitations. Now, I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. I'm very excited this week. Basically, this episode, y'all, we're gonna pretty much be catching up. I'm gonna just catch y'all up on just like some of the little things that are happening in my life and why I'm doing certain things and moving certain ways. So, first, I want to just say I just got an email that said the podcast has officially gotten 100 downloads. So, yay! That is so exciting. So that's just basically on the streaming, like the audio only. So I think that's super dope, man. I'm real excited about that. I'm really excited because I have this analogy. I'm jumping right in. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all doing good out there? Yes. Let me know. How y'all doing out there, y'all? All right, good. So I heard this analogy that said social media basically has us like so screwed in the head, right? Because if you ever thought about the amount of people that watch your videos in terms of like if these are people standing in front of you, you'd be pretty amped up about it. But because how much people go viral and how big and grand things have gotten, like don't take things we take things for granted. So if I was sitting and talking and 100 people showed up to listen to what I had to say, I would be pretty proud of myself. You know what I mean? And even if those 100 people paid $100 to watch me, I'm just saying, like, and even like my reel, you guys, I posted a reel and my reel got like 5,000 views. And I'm like, that's so exciting. Like 5,000 people cared about what I had to say to like watch my content. And you know, with the algorithm, like it only pushes it out, like it pushes it out in levels. So it's like, okay, cool. Like this video was interesting enough that it was able to even reach the capacity of 5,000 people. So really, really proud about it. And it's good because I haven't really been monitoring my numbers, so that's gonna kinda bring me into my next thing. I'm on a fast, y'all. I am fasting for this month, and it's very funny because when I was out of town, again with my rounds, like I was saying in the last episode, when I was out of town, in St. Louis for the Beyonce concert, like, we got sick, and so it was funny because God was telling me, like, because I had lost my appetite a lot, like, I really didn't wanna eat a lot, and it was a moment for a reset. So, in the moment, like, I didn't have much of an appetite, so my taste buds were kinda resetting, and then out of nowhere, I was just seeing all these, like, full-on plant-based recipes. Now, I am vegan, and I could go a little bit into why I went vegan in this episode because 'cause we're just kinda chit-chatting today, but, I am vegan, so I do eat plant-based, but I'm like a junk food vegan. So like I love me a good ramen dish. I love me a vegan crab cake sandwich. Like I just love like vegan junk food. So I like to eat exactly what I always ate, but just without the meat, which is definitely a step in the right direction. But I didn't eat as many plants as I probably should be eating, right? So when my taste buds were resetting, I felt God there, or I heard this new thing where they say God impresses things on us. So I felt God impress this urge on me to see this as an opportunity. Like, all right, you don't have much of an appetite. You're seeing all these healthy, fully plant loaded meals, and they seem very pleasing to you. Use this as an opportunity to start the momentum on becoming more plant based. Like, I'm a vegan that doesn't eat salads. I know. People are shocked every time I tell them that, y'all. Yeah, I'm vegan, but I do not like salads. And I still don't really love salads. But going on this fast, I am hoping that it will retrain my taste buds because our taste buds are just equipped to want whatever we want. Like just how people in other countries and stuff like that, they come here and they eat our sweets, and it's like our sweets are super sweet here in America compared to other like countries and other areas, right? So when we go there, we think that their stuff is bland. They probably think our stuff is just too sweet because it's just whatever your taste buds are equipped to eating or were used to, not even equipped, but just used to eating, like what you've trained them to do. So I always believe that you can retrain your taste buds. You can retrain the way that you want to eat. You can retrain your mind a lot. Um, a little bit going into just like with anything though, like even if you want to work out more, follow people on social media that work out because social media is a great tool if you use it for your strength, right? So like I said, I was on TikTok when I was out of town and I was seeing all of these like people eating all these healthy meals and I'm like, I too want to eat healthy. So, yeah, so anyway, God had impressed that on me. I came back. I didn't immediately do it. I had plans to, and it just didn't happen. Because I was just getting back into the flow of like having been off for a few days. I was getting back into the flow of things. And so getting back to the flow, I just kind of it fell by the wayside. And so it was funny because maybe like few days later, one of my sis Ari, hey girl. I don't know if she minds me saying that. I might have to bleep her name out because she might not want me to say her name. But my sister reached out to me and she was like, hey, do this fast with me. So I'm like looking over the fast and stuff, and I I have fasted before for maybe like I did a full day of like not eating or anything like that, and that was cool. Um, but I don't think I've ever really been a fast person. Like I don't normally do these fast things. I always thought they were such a fad. Like people were doing it because it was just like trendy or whatever. And I just never personally had a desire to, except for when I was fasting, like when I fast from food. And I naturally fast sometimes, but it's not normally a conscious decision. Like it's not something that I'm fully aware of. It's not until after I finish doing it and I'm like, oh, okay, God's kind of been weaning me off of this kind of music and these kind of TV shows, and God's been kind of weaning me off of these kinds of food. So I go on like what I would call just natural fast, that I just get an inkling to do something and it's not even really conscious. I just start doing it. Um, but this is an intentional fast. So she sent me the fast. She's like, let's do it. I looked through that. The fast is a little bit different, but than what I'm doing. However, I there were components that I like. And that's what I think is really beautiful is because I saw the fast for literally how everyone else who is joining the fast is doing it. But I had to tailor the fast to me. I had to tailor the fast to what my journey needs and what I need at this time. I didn't personally feel a calling from God to fast from foods in general, like not eating from a certain period or to starve my flesh. I didn't feel that. I actually felt more like God wanted me to replenish my flesh, like God wanted me to nurture myself and to eat more whole food. So in the fast, you could eat like no meats and stuff like that after a certain time. So my fast with food is looking a lot more like if I can't read it, I can't eat it. That's what I'm that's what I'm calling it. Because I'm already meat free, dairy free. No, I can't have no breads, no pastas. Which every meal I eat, y'all, has bread, has bread and pasta. Although I think I realized I kind of low key might have had something like bread, but I made it from scratch. So my big thing is mostly like if I can't read it, I can't eat it. So if it has potassium chlorides and the rides and the chlorophylls and all that kind of stuff. Well, chlorophyll's good for you, but you know what I'm saying? Sodium, carbohydrates, third, whatever. I cannot eat that because I don't even know what that is. All these acids and all these different colorings and flavorings and all these things like that. I am fasting my body of those things and eating things that I am making from scratch. So I made pasta sauce like from scratch. I made like some oat flour from scratch to go in these burgers that I made, like with no bun, of course. And I'm doing all of these things from scratch, really having the experience of creating food with love. I think I talked about it in the last episode. Like there are these things that replenish my spirit. And it's been a really good time to like be intentional with my cooking and be present with my cooking. So yeah, no process. I mean, nothing I can't read. I can't if I can't read, I can't eat it. And being mindful to like I was doing some fried things, but just being mindful to try to challenge myself to stray away from the things that I would normally eat. The whole point of this fast for me is to train my taste buds to want things like cucumbers and hummus instead of like pita and hummus. Because love me some pita and hummus, but I'm trying to stray away from that kind of a thing because I just want to have more fruits, more veggies. It just feels necessary. Even with me going vegan, and I'll come back to the fast, but even when we going vegan, people are like, "Well, why did you go vegan?" Sad to say, guys, sorry to let anyone down, but it wasn't because I love the animals so much. It wasn't because I watched some documentary that has now altered my perception on animals and eating animals. No, it wasn't that. My journey with being vegan was spiritual, which I think a lot of people's journey is a lot of people's journey as well. But my journey with becoming vegan was more spiritual. I for me personally, and all of it's a mind thing because there are people who don't do this and are completely healthy. So everyone has their own path. It just depends on what your path is. My personal path, I was told to go vegan, right? Because I might not have the same journey as someone who doesn't go vegan. So I was told the person to go vegan, and it was impressed upon on me and told to me that the reason for that is because I was aware of the conditions of the animals and then they weren't happy and they were cooped up in these little cages and they were not like out frolicking like how they were when we were young, right? They're in labs and it's all this different stuff that I don't necessarily need to go into, but I just wasn't a fan of the conditions that the animals were kept in, and I believe that that energy that those animals hold, like that anger and frustration, and probably being scared and confused and all that kind of stuff. Like I believe that when we consume that meat, we're consuming that energy. And from my own personal experience, I can say that I have felt a huge difference being vegan. Like I have felt a huge difference from when I used to eat meat. Like it didn't happen immediately, but probably within like the first few months, I started to notice a difference about how my mind felt, how my spirit felt, how my aura and my energy felt. There's definitely a difference of feeling a lot lighter and having a different perspective on the world. Um, Even like Taco Bell is my guilty pleasure. Y'all, Taco Bell is my guilty pleasure. But even when I go on Taco Bell, like, and I still go, but what the girl said about low vibrational plates, it's very low vibrational. Taco Bell is very low vibrational. Okay. But I do have my little cheat moments at Taco Bell. But for me personally on my journey, just the energy when you go in there, you can feel it, right? You know the audience that they're catering to, you know what the intention is, you know what's going on there. And so yeah, just being mindful of that. So that's the food part of my fast. I think that's everything. Yeah. Like no, yeah. I think that's everything. My main goal is to focus on eating more fruits and more vegetables, consuming them differently than I have, cutting out the pasta and the bread, which I rely heavily on being vegan, and eating more fruits and veggies. So that's the food part of the fast. So there's another part of the fast that is with social media, and it's a fast from social media. So you are for me, I am not allowed on social media. I'm not allowing myself. My parents told me so. I'm not allowing myself to be on social media until after 6 p.m. And even with the 6 p.m., there's like a 2 hour limit on it. So I can't just mindlessly scroll on social media for hours and hours. There's two things that this was important for me on my fast and what I've seen just even so far. And I'm like day 5 on this fast. But you guys are seeing this and I'll be further along by the time you guys see this episode. I'll probably be in like the second or third week. By the time you guys see this, or at least the second week, I believe. So yeah, but the social media thing. So the other day, let's have a really honest conversation. So the other day, I was just having a fine day. I was fine. I was doing good. I was having a regular, just good day. And I came across this post on social media of this girl who was just living what looked like, because I don't know her, but what looked like a really, really great life. And she looked younger than me. I know I look young. Yeah. But I'm 28. So yeah, it's like she looked younger than me and she looked like she was just living a very happy life. And I saw it and I kind of moved on. And I remember later just thinking to myself, like, I'm not good enough. I need to be further along. I need to have this, all these things, all these thoughts that I was having about myself, which I'm in a space I talked about it in the last episode. I'm in a space of learning the difference from my thoughts and my untrue thoughts and my true thoughts. So I'm learning what are not my true thoughts, that are not my sunshine and my light, but they are instead clouded perspectives. So I was feeling that for a while, and I was just like, "Ew, I don't." It's icky when I feel like that. I don't like to feel like that, but I did. So eventually, after getting frustrated, I just leaned in, like, "Okay, why am I feeling like this? Where did this come from?" And one of my favorite prayers lately has been, "God, show me the truth." I have been using this prayer for months, changing my life. Like if y'all see me changing my life. God, show me the truth. God, show me the truth. Because I'm realizing that there are so often times for me, and I'm sure I'm not alone. There are so many times that I notice I have conversations in my head that are not conversations that have ever happened. I have made up stories from people and perspectives from people that they have never told me were their perspectives and never told me were their truths. But what happens is, like, in my mind, I'm trying to justify or understand why I'm feeling a way about something. And because I'm trying to justify and understand that, I am then working out conversations in my that never happened. So I'm really getting big on talking directly to the person, asking questions to the person, finding out what the person is feeling, not whatever stories I conjured up. Because my stories that I conjured up normally don't come from the best places and normally tend to lean a little bit more negative. I think I've heard that as humans, we normally lean a little bit more negative. So I'm having all these negative thoughts about myself. I'm like, well, where is this coming from? Because these are not even my thoughts. I know who I am as a being. I know what you chosen. Spoken. Yeah, that was y'all rap. But anyway, sorry, that was a song that came through. So she says, I know who I am. I know what you spoken. But I'm already loved. So I'm learning the difference between the thoughts. Awareness is everything. So I'm learning the difference between the thoughts, what's my true thoughts, what's my untrue thoughts. And so I'm like, well, these are not my true thoughts. Where did this come from? And then there was the connection to, like, oh, I saw that video. That changed my mood because I began to compare myself and feel a way about my journey, which is normal, like, which is super normal. I mean, for anyone to ever pretend they haven't compared themselves, I mean, and I'm not even a jealous person. I'm very confident in who I am. I'm very confident in my journey. I never feel envy to other. I don't say I never because I'm human, but it's rare that I feel envy to somebody or jealous of somebody or something. I have definitely felt those. Felt it recently. I've been identifying it. So, not to say that I never, but it's not a habit that I regularly have. So when it comes up, it does have me kind of question, like, where are you coming from? And so I realized that it stemmed from the video, and I said, ah, got it. Now that I've captured, I have the awareness of where it came from. Now I go and I just reaffirm myself, talk myself through it. Like, listen, you're on your own journey. God's got you. All you need to do is continue to be the kind of woman you want to be. Continue to take steps towards the kind of woman that you want to be. The only time I ever really get down on myself about my journey is if I know I could be doing more than I'm doing. But when I'm doing the most and the best that I have at that time, I don't normally feel those kind of feelings. So that video in that situation was not the reason I went on the social media fast, but it is a benefit of the social media fast because what I've noticed is it's allowing me to get to know my thoughts even more so that I can closely identify when untrue thoughts are coming through. Because with social media, you're and taking a lot of people's opinions and perspectives, and you're seeing a lot of different lifestyles, a lot of different people, a lot of different situations. And those things can be fed into your spirit. So for me, fasting from social media has been helpful with allowing me to just get really super clear on the thoughts that I'm having to myself and about myself. Another big thing it's really helped me with, and it was today when I was like, this is actually so good. Today I was I don't remember. I had finished like some stuff in the morning, and I was like, oh, what do I want to do with my time next? Normal, because I was off today. Today's my recording day, so I was off and I hadn't recorded yet. And I was like, what do I want to do right now? Like, what do I want to do? And one of my reactions was to just like get on social. Like my mind was like, normally at this time we would be getting on social media, like kind of just or watching a TV show and cooking, but like I had talked about in an episode that I don't know if it will premiere, binging culture, like the ability to just binge and continue to watch and consume so much content, it keeps us away from our goals and the things that we want. So I had a moment where I was just like, I'm so grateful for this fast today because I have been considering um making a change in my life or just making a big decision in my life for something that I want to do for my future. And because I was like, "Oh, that's what I was doing. Y'all. I was sitting on the toilet. That's nasty. I don't want to know that. It's TMI." But you know, when you do that, we all do that. I hope we all do that. You kind of just scroll on your phone, right? But because it was during fasting hours and I couldn't like scroll on social media, I then had to find something else to do with my time. So I started to research this thing that I'm looking to do in the future. And I was really, really grateful for that because I'm like, this is very productive. This is why I'm on this fast. This is why I'm doing this because I want to allocate my time better. I want to structure myself better. I want to not get consumed. I want to know my vices and how to control my vices and how to put things in place to ensure that what I want to get done gets done so that I don't have moments where I'm getting down on myself. Because again, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm maximizing what I have, and I'm doing the best and giving it all that I can, there's never a moment where I feel lackful or bad or like what I'm doing isn't enough and not good enough and I should be here and I should be there. I don't feel that when I'm doing what I was told to do. Only when I'm out of step, only when I'm out of rhythm, only when I'm out of order do I feel those things. So I'm really enjoying my fast. I really am. Like I love getting more creative with my food. And I'm grateful for perspective. I'm grateful for mindsets because I didn't go into the fast feeling like, oh my God, it's gonna be so dreaded. Like I didn't feel like that about it. So that's not the experience that I'm having. I'm having an experience where this is just very exploratory and just exciting and kind of just like, ooh, oh, okay, what's that? Okay, ooh. Like it's one of those experiences where I'm having fun doing it. I'm having fun doing something different. And so that's why I don't really mind sharing it because it's not something that I think I know for sure I'm not gonna stop doing it. I'm gonna continue this full thing out because I know I'm gonna be transformed in ways and I'm gonna give you guys an update when I finish. When I finish, the week that I finish, I'll come and do another episode about it. And I'm sure I'll be updating you guys as it's going because I share my real journey with you guys. So this fast has been really, really good for me. Very enjoyable, and I know it's gonna change my life totally. Another thing I'm doing is I have commitments with myself. So I told myself I was going to post content on my podcast every day. Every day. First it started as 5 days. I think I talked about it. First it started as 5 days. Then it turned into six. And then it turned into seven. And it was like, well, I have the clips. I have the ability to do it. So why not? And I really enjoy when my goals kind of pan out like that. Meaning like I go into it with like a lower I don't know. Does this work for you guys? I go into my goals with a lower expectation that way I can overly exceed. I can be an overachiever. I do quite enjoy that because all the pressure sometimes makes me not do things. So since I know myself, that really works well for me. So when I went into this whole thing about posting more consistently with my podcast, I was like, yeah, I'll just do 5 days. And genuinely, I just thought I was going to do 5 days. I thought that was already doing good. And then the momentum started. And then it was like, let's do six and let's do seven. And now we're posting every day. And that's why you just have to take the first step a lot. Like, just take the first step and allow the momentum to carry you. Allow God to carry you through it because that would even happen when I would go to the gym. I would like tell myself like, "Ah, I don't feel like it." So then I would tell myself like, okay, if we don't have to feel like it, but we'll just walk today. Like we'll just walk. We don't have nothing crazy, Sean. Like it's fine. Set the expectations real low. bars in hell. Okay. Set the expectations are real. We'll just go walk. We'll go breathe in the gym, child. Just get there. Just get there. So I would get to the gym and I would like, okay, all we gotta do is walk. Then I'd be walking. I'm like, well, we're here. I might as well run. And now I've done the full on run when I only came down to walk because I went in setting my expectations so low. But because I wanted it, or I was already in the space of it, or I'm already in the energy of it, the momentum just carries me through it. The momentum will just carry you through. All you have to do a lot of times is just get started. Stop waiting for a better moment and a better time. I was talking to my friend the other day because she wanted to do something, and I was telling her, I'm like, hey, she didn't want to do it because she wasn't in the mental space to do it anymore. And there's no judgment, like whatever she decides. But I was telling her the commitments that you make to yourself to honor, like it doesn't only matter if you do it when it's easy. It really matters when you do it when it's hard. So even for me with the podcast, like I did the first season of this podcast and then I wasn't going through a hard time, but it just wasn't as easy for me to film the next season of the podcast. And even once I got like my footing like into my new space and stuff, I still didn't do it, but it wasn't the easiest time for me to do it. But the test of the commitment isn't just when it's easy, it's when it's hard, right? So even when I have moments like sometimes when I film, like I'm just like, what am I gonna talk about today? What am I gonna say? What am I even ready? Is this even good enough? And all that kind of stuff. It's just like do it even when you don't want to do it. Do it even when it's hard, because that's when you appreciate it the most. There's were days where I almost missed my time for posting the video. I said, no, we're still gonna post because we have to honor our commitment. So this thing that I'm doing with posting every day, this is me showing myself that I know how to honor my commitments. Me showing myself that I am a woman who believes in myself. Because how does someone navigate who believes in themselves? I'm even realizing, I mean, as confident as I am, I'm realizing that sometimes I don't treat myself like the most confident person. So clearly there is some lack or some fear around it. Sorry, I'm at the channel for a second. I was even talking on the phone today. I'll be chatting y'all for real. So I was even on the phone today and I was having a conversation about it doesn't matter just what you say to yourself. It really matters the stories that your actions say to yourself. You can say, I could say like Shauna, like I'm Shauna, I'm so confident and all this stuff. But if I never do the actions of the confident Sean, if I never do those actions, then I'm not as confident as I believe myself to be. I always base things about how do you treat yourself, and then obviously how do you allow other people to treat you, which is the same as how you treat yourself in a way. Because what you allow is also, it's connected. So, how do you treat yourself? If you believe that you are confident, like, and you like, there's some people who go out there who have these where they just smash their goals because they're just unapologetic. It might not even be that they're confident. They just have the mindset of someone who is just like, let's just do it and see what happens, right? So, same thing for me is like, I can't say I'm this confident person. And then to me, say I'm confident in my dreams that what I want is going to happen. If you're confident that what you want is that you're going to be a successful speaker, if you're confident that you're going to be impactful in the world, how would that person act? She would be here doing her podcast. She would be doing the other things that we're doing for her future. She would be doing all of those things. That is how you show yourself that you are as confident as you believe yourself to be. You can't say I am the most confident person ever and then you walk in the room and your head is down. That is a lack of confidence. Pick your head up. Queen, king, even myself. I tell myself all the time like, Sean, you're confident, right? So, pick your head up. Look people in the eye. And I want to look down, look back up. Even if it's embarrassing and awkward, do it because you're training yourself. Who cares? You'll never see this person again in your life. Who really cares? And even if you will see them again, who cares? Who cares? It's worse to show yourself that you're not holding yourself accountable to the things that you want. Speaking of confidence, y'all, let me tell y'all, my hair straight today. Straight Hair Shawn is back. Straight Hair Shawn normally only comes out for the summer. I mean, for the winter on my birthday. Normally, that's it. But I had straight hair all throughout high school. Like my hair was straight throughout my entire high school career. And when I got older, like in my early 20s, early to mid 20s, I've probably been natural for like maybe 5 or 6 years at this point. So yeah, early 20s, I decided to go natural and just be more natural. I realized that, and I felt so much guilt about not being natural because I just made this commitment. I didn't want to let the natural hair community down. Because I feel like it was definitely during an era where all Black women were empowered by their hair and being natural, and I still am empowered by my natural hair, but being just super realistic and candid with myself, I feel the most confident when I have my hair straight. I feel the best version of me when I have my hair straight. It's just how I feel. It's just some people have really beautiful, like supernatural curly hair that looks great, whether it's super tight coils, whether it's super loose, right? And they have decided to take care of it and all that kind of stuff. I child lazy lazy. It's just the natural is just not even convenient for me. And so people might hate me for saying this. I really cannot care, but just being realistic, like I want to feel good when I walk out of the door. And a lot of times I don't feel good with a messy bun or whatever. Like I've learned to, but this is where I feel the most confident. So I have to know me enough to like trust that. And it brings out a different energy in you. Like I don't know if you realize how much our physical appearance, how much our physical appearance factors into how we show up to the world. There was extra bounce in my step today, child. Like this baby was like bounce when she walked in, bounce when she walked in, step when she walked in, step and she throwing everywhere. Everywhere. So yeah, I mean, maybe you guys can even see it watching the podcast. But I even watched back the last episode of last season. It's just a different air. It's a different energy, and God's been even giving me things. I'm not gonna go into all the things, but just things about like even my appearance that will help me further step into it. Like just like how when women go through breakups and they cut off all their hair, because this our bodies, this is our canvas, and so this is a way that I am deciding to express myself, and each style pulls out a different part of me, and I'll still wear my hair natural and curly, but I'm just not gonna force myself to only do that because I'm trying to make someone outside of myself happy when I know that like I feel really good like this and I feel the most confident. And what I'm doing right now, I need to feel the most confident in myself to do it. I need to feel like my best self. Not that my hair is defining me, but it is a tool that I can use to give me a boost. So, what I'm doing right now, being here, fully pursuing this thing, I need to feel like my best version of myself at all times, right? So, yeah, so that's that update. There's another one. I'm just trying to see if I want to go into it. Whew, excuse me. Another thing I'm working on. Y'all saw in the beginning when we talked about the podcast. I'm working on celebrating myself. Yeah, I'm working on celebrating myself. Me and my mom had this really good conversation. Like it was some expanding that I really needed. We were kind of going over the conversation around jealousy and we kind of expanded that into because I want to save the full conversation for something else, but we were talking about sorry. We were talking about the jealousy and we ended up rooting it back to me realizing that apparently a love language I never thought that I liked is one that I quite desire at the moment, which is words of affirmation. And I would always say like that was the that was literally the bottom of the barrel on my love languages. I'm like, I do not need you to affirm me and tell me you like me and love me all the time. I don't need that. Um, and I don't know that I do or don't need that at this time. So I can't really speak to that. I do think I do enjoy being affirmed that people love me and care about me. But words of affirmation for me, I'm gonna lift my leg up a little bit. Words of affirmation for me these days looks like you're doing a great job. I'm really proud of you. You're really gifted in this. Um, you're doing a great job. You are so enough. S- and so I just realized that it was a love language I never thought I needed, but realizing that I never got that as a kid. My mom and I were talking, and I'm like, as a kid, I never felt celebrated, but I was also like, I don't think I ever did anything that that I felt was worth celebrating. It wasn't like I was on honor roll. It wasn't like I was in some kind of sports. It wasn't like I did any of that stuff. So I don't know that anything I did was worth celebrating. And then my mom was like, "Oh, that's I'm really sorry that you felt like that." And then we kind of went a little bit deeper into me kind of being like just like the center and the piece in the family in a way, and me feeling like when I finally had something that was worth celebrating, which was my when my gift started to come in, or I started to become aware enough to come in, was always there, but when I became more aware of my gifts, um that not being celebrated, and in fact being, and from my perspective, being dishonored. So then I turn around and say, I'm gonna just take this gift and like use it for like what I want to do for my career and give it to the world and do all this stuff. And I would do it, and I never felt anything from it. So I realized that I never even make a big deal out of my accomplishments. So I'm in a space now where like I'm gonna start making a big deal out of my accomplishments. And I do desire to have people around me who hype it up and think it's just as big of a deal, when I have an accomplishment and when I do things, because these are not small strides. These are not small things. And what I'm doing, I'm really proud of. And what I'm doing, a lot of people don't even have the courage to do. And so I'm not going to take that lightly anymore. I'm gonna be better at celebrating me. I'm gonna even be better at affirming myself. The other day, I had this conversation with my higher self. I was talking to her, and I'm just like, sometimes I don't even know if you're real. Like, I can see you, I can see your life, all that stuff. I don't even know if you're real. Like, and I just had to keep talking myself through it. Like, you can do this. You got this. Like, I just literally said that over and over. I played this gospel song. It's called Yet. I don't know. I think the group is called The King. The group cannot be called The Kingdom Has Come. The King Has Come. It might be, but the song's like "Don't give up on me yet." Um, it's the other song that my sister introduced me to. But so I played that song, and I just journal, and I just realized I need to affirm her so much, because like when I see that version of me, I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of get scared of her because I know the conscious effort that I have to make to be her. I know how much I have to push me to be her. And I'm realizing that that's not something that I got growing up. And when I bring up these things that I didn't get growing up, it's never like a sympathy thing. It's always like it's in my awareness now. So now I know, like I need to know why I don't put, oh, I don't know how to do it. I never saw it and never got it. So cool. That means I just have to work a little harder to do it. That's it. I'm not gonna say hard because I don't like thinking that things are gonna be hard. I just have to be more mindful of it. That's it. So when I'm saying like, oh, I didn't grow up with encouragement, I didn't grow up being pushed, I didn't grow up athletic where like they have that that like a mindset that it's okay to fail and get back up again. You got to keep trying. It's better to try than to have never tried. Like I didn't grow up with those mindsets. So there's something that I'm giving myself as an adult. So I'm introducing just a whole new way of thinking. So when I look at my higher self, I realize that like a little bit she scares me because I know the that I have to be so different. Like not so different, but I have to be different in a lot of ways. And I have to challenge myself in a lot of ways to get to her. And I have to be brave enough to do that. We are human and we love comfortability. I have to get really comfortable with being uncomfortable. Um and learning to look, and that's why even hearing my thoughts are so important, so I can hear what the voice is trying to navigate me, because the untrue voice tries to keep me really safe a lot of times and tells me not to do things, not to pursue things, not to go for things, because it's trying to protect me. But I can't sit and not live in life. I can't not exist and I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave this earth having not gone for things. I was watching this interview. It was a Army Money podcast. It was the one with Tyrese, and he said this thing about, I guess some guy in his neighborhood had told him like, you don't want to be a woulda, coulda, shoulda, and then it made me automatically go to my mind like, because I'm the person that, like in my friend group, and we all do this too. But like I love to like come up with questions. Like when I hear quite good questions, I go to my group like, oh, what y'all think about this question, right? So that's me. I just love stuff like that. So when I heard that, I thought like, if I was sitting on my deathbed today, and this was the life I had lived, the life that I lived, or like this was the end. What is something I wouldn't want to look back on and say, I should have done that. I could have done that. I would have done that. Like, what is some advice? Even when you think about the parents who didn't go after certain things that they wanted and they try to give it to their kids. What are the things in my life that if I was on my deathbed today, I would say I should have did that? And there are some things that came up. One in particular. And it allowed me, I hope this is okay. It allowed me the opportunity to be honest about what I would do if death was staring me in the eye. What would you do if death was staring you in the eye? If you were on your deathbed right now, what would be the things that you would like look back and be like, "Oh man, I wish I would have done this. If I would have known this was going to happen, I would have done that." What are those things? Because those are the things that you need to actively do now. Like you don't have to wait until you have a death sentence to make a bucket list. You don't have to wait until you have a death sentence to call and make up with that person. You don't have to wait until you have a death sentence to decide to love again. You don't have to wait until you have a death sentence to pick up that dream again. You do not have to wait. All you have to do is question yourself enough to see how much am I really challenging myself here. I have one life. How fully am I actually living it? Because living a different life requires you to be different, bro. Like it requires you to think differently. It requires you to push yourself differently. It requires you to wake up and do different things. That's a big part of this fast. I need to think differently. When there's free time, I don't need to think about what show I can be watching. I need to be thinking differently. There's things I could be doing. There's other things I could be doing. I need to change my mind about food. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have my indulgences and my moments. Oh, I also can't have sweets. Processed sweets, y'all. No cookies, no ice cream. And I love me cookies and ice cream, child. No chocolate? Mm. Because fruit is cool and all, but like no chocolate? Not even ice cream? No. So I want to challenge myself. This whole fact is about challenging myself to be different, to act different, to think different, to consume different, to eat different. Like, I don't want to ever like look back on my life and think I wish I would have done that anymore. Because I realized that there are certain things I look back on, like I don't know if I covered this in the last episode, but I even look back on like me in high school and I was on the dance team, made the dance team. I tried out for the band dancing team. So they were it was like one team. It was band dancing and then it was the dancing. It was all one. Right. So I tried out for band dancing. I didn't make the band dancing, but I made the dance team. But I had so much fear around people seeing me and judging me and performing that like I never would do a performance. Made the team, never would do a performance, and never even challenged myself to go back to try to do the band dancing half. Didn't challenge myself to get better. Didn't challenge myself to be better. And when I look back at that, I'm like, man, like I should have done that. And then there's no regrets because life is life and there's nothing I can do about regretting it. But what I can do is take that insight of I wish I would have did this, but I was too scared of being seen. I wish I would have done this, but take that and turn it into what I'm gonna do differently in the future. So I think that I covered everything that I wanted to cover. This was a super chill episode. Quite enjoy it. Quite enjoyed it. I'm gonna post this as it is. I'm not gonna because I feel like the core message was so powerful in this last half, and this is my challenges with myself. Like, but the first half was good too, and there's something there too for other people if they want to hear it. But it was something there for me regardless. So it's beautiful to like appreciate your process. It's beautiful to exercise your muscles and appreciate the process because things are always getting better. If you don't take anything from me, just remember that like things are always getting better. So these episodes are always getting better. Every episode is better than the last episode. Every time I get better at getting to God's message. Every time, but not even better because it goes at the time it's supposed to. But every time, like I can hear what God wants us to talk about faster. I can hear God's message faster every time. Every time I get better at storytelling. Every time, things are always getting better. And just remember that. Just remember that no matter where you are on your journey or what you're doing, it is an improvement and it is always getting better. So practice that craft, work that muscle, stay consistent, be on top of it, change your mind about some things if you need to. And this is coming up, so I guess we're gonna talk about this before I go. But the last thing I want to say is I think I talked about this in another episode too, but I just want to remind you guys because I've even been reminding myself new moments, you guys, new moments. Every moment is a new moment. There are certain core messages that are just so important to me. Things are getting better and better, and so you'll hear me referencing them all the time. New moments is so important, so extremely important because we're a lot of times we're living in the past. I can't do this because in the past this happened. I can't do that because in the past this happened. But you are not in the past. You are in a brand new moment right now, and the things can be different right now. Things can look differently this time around. So trust that and affirm that to yourself. This is a new, just like say it. This is a new moment. This is a new moment. This is totally brand spanking new baby. I don't know why we smack the baby in the booty, but this is a brand new moment. So treat it that way. Treat each moment like it is a brand new point in time because it literally is. So you don't have to base what the story you continue to tell yourself based on a story that you have been told, past tense told. Rewrite a new story. And don't be a shoulda, coulda, woulda. All right, y'all. This conversation has been lovely. Love chatting with you guys per usual. If you guys enjoyed this episode, then follow the podcast because what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I'm sick of it. Get it together, okay? So if you are not following y'all's conversation, be sure to follow y'all. We hit 100 downloads. It's lit. And I would love for you guys to join the commune. Okay, the community, the peoples. Follow me on my social media. It's all at authentically Sean. And yeah, that's it. Don't forget to hop out the bed and turn your swag on today. And I love you guys. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. Oh, no, no, no. I'm actually not gonna talk to you next time 'cause I didn't do how we decided to be limitless today. Yikes. Yikes. Okay, it's a song for everything for me. Y'all will learn that about me. How are we deciding to be limitless today? I am deciding to be limitless by, I want to say this the right way. Sorry, give me a moment. I am deciding to be limitless by giving myself the opportunity to try. Stop telling yourself no when you don't even know. So I am trying to be limitless by giving myself the opportunity, just trying, just trying. Let God tell you no. That's it. Okay, now for real, I will talk to you guys in the next episode. It was a lovely chat. Love you. Bye.